If you're looking to work on your shoulders and hamstrings, this workout is for you. It's going to be a nice mix of both. And all you need is a pair of dumbbells or just something to hold on to for a little bit of resistance. It can also be done without any equipment, so if you don't have any equipment, that is okay. We can make that work, but otherwise something to hold.
Strength gains for days.
Let's go, shoulders and hammies. We're gonna get started with our shoulders and hamstring workout. We're gonna start by doing a little warm up that will teach you the movements that we'll do today. So the first is just going to be a straight arm raise, but we're gonna be neutral grip. So neutral is when your palms are facing each other. It's our strongest grip. So we're gonna go ahead and have our arms at our side. You're just gonna come up to straight, and then we're just gonna keep going, go overhead just to warm up those shoulders a little bit, and then come back to neutral. So the movement for today is just gonna be stopping to here, holding dumbbells or some type of weight, and we're just raising straight up. For the warm up, we're gonna reach up overhead as well. We're gonna do 10 reps of this. Just warming up our shoulders, getting any kinks out. If you feel something pinching or anything like that, then when you go overhead, go a little wider. The tighter your shoulders are, the more pressure it's going to put on that shoulder joint. So you can go wider if you need to. The second movement is going to be a glute bridge with a walkout. I'm going to have Alex demo that here in the middle for us. So glute bridge, first of all, she's going to start just kind of laying flat on her back. Notice how close her feet are to her glutes, to her butt, all right? That may be harder for some of you. So if you can't go that tight, that's okay, but that is the goal. So she's in this position here, she's got her heels nice and tight. She's going to glute bridge up, which is kind of like a hip thrust. She's squeezing nice and tight. She's straight line from shoulder to hip joint, almost pretty much all the way to the knee. And from here, she's going to keep her hips as high as possible and walk her feet out, little by little. You may notice you pick up a leg and you fall. That's okay, all right? If that's the case, you can just kind of march in place. But the goal is to get as wide as possible. And it's best to be on your heels when doing this. If you try to walk on your toes, it'll be a little weird, all right? So let's go ahead and do 2 reps of this. 2 reps of this. It's laying on your back. We're gonna go ahead and glute bridge up. I'll show from a side angle. Glute bridge up, get on those heels, and slowly walk it out. If you have your hands on the ground, that's gonna help you balance. Ideally, we try to get as flat as possible. And then you're coming back in. I said 1 rep, I'm not gonna waste your time. I was really slow. 2 reps of that, all right? So first movement, neutral raise. Second movement, glute bridge plus walkout. Third movement is going to be a neutral grip overhead press. So that's having dumbbells or something. We'll actually pick up our weights for this one. You can demo without weights, just as a warm up. We're just gonna press straight up. So I'm here, elbows are tight, pressing straight up, biceps to ears, and then coming back down. I'm gonna talk while Alex demos here. So as we're doing this, she's keeping her tummy locked down. So there's a straight line from her shoulder to her foot. You're noticing a theme here. We don't want to have any big bends or waves in the body. Locking that in. Also helping her lock that in is keeping her glutes engaged. So she has her glutes squeezed tight, almost like she's trying to pinch her butt together as we press. And there we go, neutral overhead press. Set that down. Last but not least, join us in this. We have a straight leg deadlift. So you're going to do this with no weights just to get warmed up. Alex is going to have her feet close together. She's going to step 1 foot forward. So there's a little bit of a staggered stance. She has that back heel up, as you can see, the space here. And from there, she's going to hinge from the hip. It's like you got groceries and you're trying to shut the car door with your butt instead of using your body. All right, so she's going to hinge back and lean towards the ground. So she's really biasing and strengthening the single leg, and it's going to feel more here than in that side because that knee is more bent. Neither leg is completely locked out until the end.
There's less of a bend in my left leg. So here's my left leg, this is my right leg. My right leg, as Lauren was saying, because I'm bending that knee, I'm not able to stretch that hamstring as much.
Right.
So there's a slight bend in the knee. I'm able to stretch it a little bit more as I shoot those hips back all the way toward that back wall. Now, even with this, without weight, I really don't need resistance. I feel a huge stretch in those hamstrings.
Yeah.
So even without weight, guys, you could do this at home. Control the intensity with how slow you move, and the greater the stretch, better.
Excellent. So let's do 5 reps each side as a warm-up, like Alex was saying. You don't even need weight to do the warm-up. So stand, stagger your feet, bend one leg up a little bit, slight bend in that knee. We're reaching. Feel the stretch, hold at your end range, and come back up.
And as Lauren comes down, she does not have to come down to the floor. If she comes down to the floor, I mean, Lauren's pretty strong in her upper back, but if you don't have a lot of stability or strength in that upper back, a lot of times what happens is the shoulders will collapse as we try to reach to the floor. The goal is not to stretch to reach the floor. The goal is to get a big stretch and pull in those hammies, okay? So keep it stable. She's almost even framing her leg. Whichever leg that we're working is the side that she's framing. Notice both arms are on either side of that left leg. Perfect.
All right, so let's go a few more reps on that leg and then we'll switch to the other side. As Alex is going, you notice that her back is staying nice and flat. She's not excessively rounding that low back, and as she just talked about, we're not having any rounding of the shoulders. Go ahead and switch legs. We get 5 on the other leg. Excellent, I trust you. No cheating here. If you feel any excessive pulling or stinging in that hamstring, then you're probably too locked out, and you want to have just a little bit of bend, as Alex was saying earlier, okay? All right, so those are the 4 movements that we're going to do. We're going to do them in repetitions of 12, 10, then 8, then 6. We're going to do them with you, so this workout is not for time or on a time base, it's on a rep base, but stick with us because we're going to give you certain tempos for each of the movements.
Cool.
With that, we'll get started. So if you need to pause the video to grab some dumbbells, if you have those, go ahead. Otherwise, you got, can of beans, a bag of flour, some buckets of water, anything at home that you can use to raise. Hopefully the buckets are closed. When I say buckets of water, I mean gallons of water. All right, anyways, here we go. All right, 12 reps, neutral grip front raise. Here we go, our tempo. And up, hold, down. I went way too heavy for this. Up, hold, down. 10 pounds, y'all, I got this. Up.
I grabbed 15.
Oh gosh, I got 10.
Let's increase that tempo.
Yeah, we are. We're going a little faster.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Opposite.
I'm on 8. If I'm counting right, 9. 10. 11. 12. Excellent. Set those dumbbells down, weights down. We're going to go right into that glute bridge with walkout. This will be a little harder to do in tempo. We're doing 12 reps or we're doing 12 steps.
So it's going to go down and back as 2.
Okay,
So
all right.
Out and back.
Cool, so six reps completely.
Yep.
Okay. All right, here we go. So plant those feet, glute bridge up. We're going to walk with our feet, right, left, right, left, right, left. Hold as long as you can get back in. There's 1, 5 more. Keep those hips as high as you can. Don't go too far that your hips drop. 4 more. Excellent, 3 more. There we go, guys, 2 more. Protect that low back, keep that core tight. Use those arms to balance into the ground. All right, last one. Keep those hips high. Keep them up, keep them up, keep them up. Good job. All right, if you were watching the video, you may notice that Alex's hips are a little higher than mine are a little lower. It's a weaker movement for me. So you may be in a range depending on where your hips are. Do your best and just be true to the fact that I can't go as flat as she can. I don't have that hamstring strength, so I go to my ability level. Make sure you're doing the same. Next up, we have neutral grip overhead press. So we have those dumbbells on your shoulders. Elbows are not flaring out, they're tight to the side. We're gonna press straight up. Here we go. And up, hold, down slow. Up, hold, down slow. There's 2. There's 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8.
Last one.
Awesome. I need this still. All right, straight leg deadlift. You can do one weight, you can do weight in each hand, whatever you want to do. I'm going to start with my, what am I going to start with? Yeah, I'll start with my left leg, being the leg I'm focusing on. Here we go. Down nice and slow. Squeeze up.
Now remember, you're framing that leg. with those dumbbells.
Yep. Because Alex is talking about we're framing that leg. What I'm not doing is coming with dumbbell out to the side of my other leg. I'm keeping my left leg that I'm focusing on and kind of leaning towards that leg. So you're going to be a little, I guess you could say crooked. It's not really crooked. It's just that you're biasing towards that one leg.
We're on 9.
Awesome.
Don't forget to lock out at the top. Stand tall.
Yep, really try to squeeze those glutes at the top. Switch legs.
If you're not locking out at the top, you're not getting that full extension, and that's not an ideal. You want to always work full range of motion. We on 3.
Make sure you're not going too low on the way down. Keep that back protected. Back nice and flat. It's like you're trying to create a brace from your belly all the way through your back. Not that you're pushing out. It's almost that you're contracting down.
And 12. Good.
Oh, still need these hat. All right, so that was our round of 12. Next up, we're going to switch to our round of 10. So it's going to be the same thing, same movements, but now dropping down to 10 reps. We'll start in 5.
Now with this, you can even slow down a little bit. Since we don't have as many repetitions, we can slow down that tempo just a tad. Or increase the tempo, so longer.
Yep. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. As you front raise, you want to make sure that your elbows stay locked. You're not bending at the elbow joints. You're making the shoulder do the work. As Alex was saying, your weight might be lighter than ours, so maybe you go down this slow. So you might be a little behind us on tempo. That's okay. We'll rest and wait for you to get done.
2 more. Squeeze those glutes.
Yep, keep that full body engaged. If you're still going, that's fine. Finish up. We'll give you some time. We're going to get ready for the for the glute bridge walkouts. Again, for these walkouts, out and in is 1, and we have 10 reps. So technically, we'll do 5 walkouts. Go to your ability level. All right. Here we go. We'll start in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. I find myself kind of dragging my feet on the way in, which is cheating a little bit because I'm not lifting my feet off the ground, but that allows me to keep my hips higher. So I'm okay with that for me, but just know that it's a walkout, so you're meant to pick your feet up on the way out and on the way in. I think I have one more. Alex, where are you at? Perfect. That's a fun one. All right. Next up, we have our press, dropping down to 10 reps. So again, you could hold at the top, or you could go slowly down. I don't recommend resting at the bottom too much. When I say the bottom, I mean at your chest. You're not going to get as much work out of that. Here we go. Alex is making a harder variation by kneeling. That's going to isolate her core more. She's not able to use her lower body as much. And it's going to challenge her overhead position as well. Feel free to use that variation if you want to make it harder.
Knees are in the same position where my feet would be. So they're essentially replacing my feet, but I'm still engaging my glutes and my core all at the same time. Perfect.
All right, straight leg deadlifts. Again, you can use 2 or you could use 1 dumbbell. If you use 1 dumbbell, I like to go opposite hand and reach over that foot. If you're using 2, make sure to frame that leg. Here we go, 10 reps. Down at a decent tempo, squeeze up all the way. Really focus on squeezing up to finish that rep. You don't want to exaggerate, you don't want to lean back a bunch, but you do want to make sure you stand tall, making a straight line from your hip down to your ankle. The slower you go, the more you're going to feel this. Make sure when you get to the very bottom, you don't disengage that core. Keep that core tight the whole time. We'll switch, 10 on the other leg.
sometimes during this movement, especially when we're single leg, even when we're moving bilaterally, we tend to bring our toes off the floor.
Right.
Okay? Just naturally, because we're sinking our weight toward our heels. I want you to try to take that big toe and that second toe and really grip the floor, creating a bigger arch in your foot. Make sure that toe does not come up off the floor at any point in time.
All right, 10 seconds, we'll go to our front raises for 8. If you have the luxury at home and you have heavier weights, this could also be a time that you go heavier, and you could go a little bit bigger in your weights, but make sure these are small muscles. So a movement like this, we don't want to turn it into a heaving movement. You don't want to go that heavy. That's for a different time and place. But if you have a little bit more weight, go for it. Otherwise, what you're using is just fine. Control that tempo. Here we go, 8 reps. Keep that core tight. Try not to sway at all. Keep those elbows locked. Shoulder blades are drawn back behind you so you're not shrugging up in your ears. We don't want to do that.
And that's 8.
Awesome, glute bridge walkouts. Got 4 reps. Here we go, squeeze up, use those hands to support yourself if you need to. Walking out. There's 1. There's 2. Three. And 4. All right, straight leg deadlifts. My bad, thank you. Alex keeping me in line, everyone. Overhead press, here we go. On those shoulders, elbows tight, up. Alex is going for the harder variation again.
Even with this variation, my midfoot is in contact with the floor. It's that power movement versus here. Okay, if I'm here, I take away the entire engagement. Here I'm engaged just a little bit more.
So she's using those feet to ground herself and to make sure that she's driving into that floor, just like she was talking about with the RDL. You want to dig that toe into the ground, same idea. And she's making sure not to lean back as she presses, keeping her abs pinned down nice and tight.
So you don't want those ribs to flare. If Lauren can grab my ribs and pull out, that is not ideal. Keep it in tight.
Awesome. Straight leg deadlifts. Make sure you're grabbing that ground with your big toe. Full foot in the ground. Here we go, 8 reps. Good, just get a good tempo here. I'm hinging at the hip. I'm not bending at my knee. I'm pushing my butt away from me, back, so I feel a nice stretch in the hamstring.
One more.
Yep. Good, switch it up.
Okay, and one thing too with this, a lot of times when we go single arm or single leg, so go ahead and drop one dumbbell, whichever side. Okay, switch dumbbells, there we go. All right, what tends to happen, go ahead and come up. When she comes down in that deadlift, a lot of times this hip pops out further than the opposite hip, okay, or the other way around. Totally depends. But ideally, with a deadlift or any movement, you want to keep those hips square to the floor. Both hips are coming back and coming up at the exact same time. You don't want one to shift to one side or the other. Good. And Lauren's still keeping that back engaged the whole time.
Excellent. All right, now we're to 6s. This will be our last round, so try to make this as challenging as you need to. This is more of a strength day where we're not breathing as heavy and we're just kind of testing our limits on some of these shoulder and hamstring stuff, all right? So, neutral grip, front raise, 6 reps, here we go. Low and slow, good.
Halfway.
2 more. Last one. Awesome. All right, hamstring walkouts, we got 3 of them. Bridging up, squeeze that butt as hard as you can. Here we go. heels in the ground, walking. There's one. There's two. And three. Very good. I didn't forget this time. Now we're pressing. I'll join Alex in the kneeling fun here. All right. Pushing those feet into the ground. Abs on, butt squeezed. 6 reps. Slow on the way down. 1. Slow on the way down. That's 2. Slow. That's 3. Slow. There's 4.
Keep that glute core
Slow.
engagement.
5, last one. 6, awesome. All right, last 6 reps of our straight leg deadlift here. Frame that leg, and we're going. Feel that nice stretch in your hamstring. Make sure you're keeping that full foot on the ground. Don't let those toes come up. Keep those shoulders engaged. We're not reaching for the ground. Next leg. Make sure you're protecting that neck. I'm looking straight ahead. As I go down, my eyes go towards the floor. I got 2 more. And 6.
Perfect.
All right, guys. So, as we said, obviously today was not a big lung burner, more of a strength. If you're feeling good, you could keep going with this. You could go back up the ladder. You want to do another round, weights weren't heavy enough. Now you can go from 6 and go back up to 8, 10, and 12 and do it all over again. If you're feeling good, that was enough, then awesome. We're gonna cool you down. So we're just gonna do some kind of rotational stuff, protect that back, since we did a lot of glutes and hamstrings. I want you guys to take a lunge backwards, rest on that back knee, and then take your opposite hand and you're reaching behind you, and your front hand is kind of anchoring you on your front knee. Come back front with that arm and just go again. Reach back. So get some reps. Come back front, reach back. I got a little snap, crackle, pop there in my vertebrae. That's always good. Free adjustment. One more rep. Don't get dizzy, I'm getting dizzy. Switch it up. All right. Anchor and reach. We do a hold first. Good, reach forward and back. Each time I go back, I'm trying to see if I can get further. If I can see over my shoulder. You don't want any pinching or rotational pain. All right, guys, awesome. So I hope you enjoyed this little strength circuit for the day. Shoulders and hamstrings might be a little sore, so do some extra stretching at home if you need to. Drink some water, and great job.
Until next time.